What's up everybody? Zyra has blossomed in competitive play recently, and since my last guide I made on her is just far too old, let's refresh ourselves on this mage based support. Moving into season 7, I feel a little bit of a chill down my sides with the upcoming potential that assassin carries will have. Since Zyra is very good at quickly immobilizing and bursting enemies down, I feel she could be a useful addition to any roster. It can feel easy to get rewards with Zyra, although there are important points to her that require practice. Players with Morgana and Lux experience will pick her up quickly as well. Now at first, don't become disheartened if you die regularly. Zyra lacks mobility and she's a squishy target, and therefore takes practice to position consistently. Landing your skill shots is essential to avoid being chased down or killed, and if you have relied heavily on sustain supports in the past, then this is going to be a huge change for you. So let's get into the finer details, shall we? The runes, masteries and item build all complement each other. Overall, Zyra is best optimized with magic penetration, and then stats like ability power and survivability, whilst cooldown reduction is not an active priority. So I optimize her rune page with armor, health and magic penetration, and this allows for added survival and damage potential, although ability power is a suitable alternative. And for masteries, I use 0-18-12. Picking up the Thunderlord's Mastery, Precision, Meditation and the other utility benefits, whilst obtaining the extra survivability and reduced summoner spell cooldowns from the other tree. And my item build often starts with Spell Thieves, Wards and Pots, moving on to the Sightstone and Sorcerer's Boots, then I go into Haunted Guise and finish Leandra's Torment and Ryla's Crystal Scepter, especially when my team lacks crowd control as well. At this point you're going to do a lot more damage to your enemies, and your final items can either be situational or further damage. As always, item builds are a huge subject and they have lots to talk about, so if you have any questions or comments, drop something in the comments below and you know that I will get back to you. Now in summary, Zyra brings a lot to Summoner's Rift: volatile poke, burst damage and crowd control potential, and this continues to multiply when you get your essential items and enemies don't respect the damage of your plants. Now remember that your ultimate enhances the damage of any of the plants inside of its radius, so get those seeds down to make bigger plays. So talking about Zyra's skill order, there are two paths to consider. Maxing Q first is extra damage and E is extra duration on your crowd control. I prefer the extra lockdown myself and thus I max E. However, against enemies like Morgana, Lucian and Ezreal, those with the ability to dodge and deny my snares, Q can be the preferred option for the extra damage. For your summoner spells, obviously Flash is essential and it can assist aggressive engages as well, and Exhaust is a good choice versus assassins and high burst enemies, although Ignite can be extremely useful if you want to secure kills earlier on in your laning phase. She's a great champion to pick when your team lacks magic damage or has lots of bruiser or tankier champions, and she's especially good against enemies without sustain or when matched with allies with high damage potential early as well. Although she does work well with the majority of AD carries, and she's extremely threatening with those who have crowd control in their skill set. Despite being a weak champion of fighting assassins herself, when she's with allies that take priority of becoming assassinated, she can often turn them upside down with quick reactions and snaring them with follow-up burst. I have a very aggressive playstyle with Zyra, and the potential to secure kills or deny the enemy from farm is huge, so be aware of your surroundings and the position of your enemies as much as possible, but don't be afraid to make trades when it's safe to do so. During your laning phase, little trades such as Q and W and an auto attack can be enough to proc your Thunderlord's Decree, then just back off and wait for your cooldowns again. Be extremely patient against enemies that are difficult for Zyra early game, especially Jhin and Ashe, those with hard engage or high damage supports, and remember not to feel forced to commit to every fight when you land your skill shots, as you are strong throughout the game. As it progresses, try and be prepared for fights by predicting where they're going to start and allow a couple of seeds to spawn to increase your potential damage. If you catch any enemies with your E, great, otherwise allow your teammates to engage and follow up with control and burst, or reserve your spells and be mindful of peeling for your carries instead. With all of this being said, you should know that seeds do not spawn passively when you're standing inside a brush. They reveal enemies who step on them, so place seeds in walk paths to catch enemies like Eve or Shaco out. And remember that plants give more vision than seeds, so they're useful when you're out of wards. They're also excellent at zoning enemies and tanking objectives, and remember under enemy turrets they take priority. Using your R restores the duration of all your plants within its radius to 10 seconds, and being prepared can really aid your damage in teamfights. The most efficient way to use your combo is to use your ability first and then place a seed second. It's so much harder for your enemies to predict your choreography when it's done this way. For example, starting with E and W creates a vine lasher from your snare, and the shorter range plant that has a slow application can allow you to follow up with your QW or RQW and take enemies down. So I hope that this video has been insightful for you guys. If you liked it, click the thumbs up button. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or click subscribe for next week's video. Take care. Bye.